It just doesn't seem possible. The man in the white T-shirt, a passenger from seat 11A, walking from the wreckage with barely a limp.
When he was on the runway, well, my dad called him and Vishwash said, "Oh, we're going to take off soon." And then literally like 2 minutes later, he video called my dad. As he crashed, he said, "Oh, our plane's crashed." All of that. I don't know where my brother is. I don't see any other passengers. I don't know how I'm alive, how I exited the plane.
I can hear your voice shaking. I know this is a silly question, but how are you and your family keeping up at the moment?
I mean, you can see the state of my mum. Like, we're all just, I've got no words.
India's health ministry have said that many have been killed. There are no figures yet on whether there are any survivors. It crashed into a doctor's hostel, according to reports on Reuters. It was a long-haul flight heading from India to London's Gatwick Airport. And crossing live from London now is Spiked Online chief political reporter Brendan O'Neill. Brendan, thank you for your time. Now, the details are all still coming through. We don't know the cause of the accident, but this is a terrible tragedy, and we know 53 British citizens on board as well.
And as you say, we don't know yet the casualty figures, but it looks terrible from the footage that many of us will have seen online. And as you also say, 53 British nationals on board. So this looks like it's a very dark day, not only for India, but also for Britain. And Keir Starmer, our Prime Minister, has said that it looks devastating. He's keeping a close eye on it. I think obviously more details will come out in the next few hours, but it looks like there's going to be a period of mourning in both India and the UK after this.
Yeah, 1 Canadian as well, 7 Portuguese nationals. So what we know about what happened is that seconds after takeoff, there was this Mayday call from the pilots, but then there was no other contact with the aircraft after that. The reports are that it finally crashed 5 minutes after takeoff in a nearby residential area and crashed into reportedly this doctor's hostel, perhaps in a canteen area. That's what some of the vision is showing. There have been bodies taken on carriers to ambulances. It would be a miracle if anyone survived. We can only pray. But Brendan, I mean, as I've been saying this evening, you just think of all the families on board, 242 people, including 12 crew, and you just wonder how something like this can happen in this day and age. What were the safety checks done? There's going to be so many questions now that need to be answered.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, plane crashes are mercifully rare, but when they happen, they raise all sorts of questions. How can this still happen? Why did it fail so soon into the flight, just moments after taking off? The fact that it crashed into a residential area, seemingly into a doctor's hostel, is also incredibly worrying, because that raises the possibility that there will be casualties on the ground as well as on the flight. Not dissimilar to Lockerbie, I guess, where many people died on the ground as well as in the plane. So a terrible tragedy, a global tragedy, really. And as you say, we think about the families. I'm thinking about all the people who will have been driving to Gatwick Airport this evening in the UK to pick up their loved ones. They must just be devastated. And I'm sure we're going to see some very distressing scenes in Gatwick and on the news over the next few hours. It's really, really a tragic situation.